What's up, y'all? It's Cidnee Rich of Arcana ATL, and this is another edition of Tarot and Transits, where we're going to be talking about the Pisces lunar eclipse. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you stick around, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into this edition of Tarot and Transits. Welcome, you guys. Okay, so we have a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces during the month of September, which is going to be the harvest full moon. And it is a big one, okay? Pisces energy is mutable energy. Mutable energy is all about change, okay? Things being able to transform, things being able to shift, things being able to grow, things being able to end. It's this idea of transition. It's this idea of change. And the only constant in life is change. And so this axis, this Virgo Pisces axis, which creates the eclipses that we experience because the nodes are in Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node. So it creates eclipse season. And therefore, these energies, this axis of change that we are navigating and experiencing those shifts in is this Pisces energy. And Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So it is inherently of endings. And this transition to this ethereal realm. It's so funny that I have my alien shirt on. Like this other world Pisces brings us to. So we're stretching ourselves. We're evolving into this new world, this new earth. Okay? And with Virgo being the earth mutable sign, it shifts and changes the very environment we're existing in. So now you have this otherworldly, kind of spiritually elevated Piscean energy interacting with the mutability of the Earth Virgo energy. And when those two things come together in an eclipse energy, which is what's happening, a total eclipse, which means the sun is completely blocking the light of, the moon is completely blocking the light of the sun. That means that you're getting this kind of like this light switch, like on off. Like you're getting that kind of energy that's happening. And it's happening in your reality and in your vision of what you would like your reality to look like. So I'm so into this nodal transit because it's my natal nodal transit. Say that 10 times fast. Natal nodal. But it's my natal nodal transit, so it's very visceral to me and all of my like cohorts, like all my 88 babies, right? We are feeling this, y'all, okay? 88 babies, and then some of my 89 babies, the beginning. So we're in this time of like change, and it's going, this full moon, this lunar eclipse, is going to feel like, oh yeah, shit's changed. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because what it's doing is helping us grow. And with the South Node in Virgo, it's creating space from what we've been holding so tightly onto out of a feeling of service to a version of ourselves. Right? And now we're kind of changing into this more Piscean version of this kind of soul energy, being more present, being more forward facing, being more embodied, versus us learning and doing our diligence and being diligent and being, you know, service oriented, right, for others, for the betterment of others through our kind of like maybe advice or our presence, or however this may resonate with you specifically, right? But now it's like taking that service and honoring your soul, serving your soul self with the Pisces energy, right? It's kind of more of an internalized energy of like conversation with source, spirit, God, source, the universe, because it's that big energy. Pisces is that big soul energy, and it loves the moon, right? It's like co-rules the moon, kind of, right? Cancer rules the moon, but Pisces is like the lieutenant, you know? And so it has this soul energy to it, especially with it being the last sign. So it's kind of like a portal energy, and that's where this change is able to happen. And that's what we're kind of going to be experiencing on various levels depending on our personal astrology in our lives. And you can feel this wherever it feels naturally occurring, right? So wherever you just feel like in your life, whatever is feeling like something's changing here, that's where this nodal axis is probably activating your chart. So for me, it's got a lot to do with relationships and other people and myself and my sense of worth. I'm having this shift, this change, this different way of viewing things. Connection, exchange, right? So depending on where you have that Pisces energy in your chart, you might find yourself like, I want to do more, or I want to be more in my sense of self, like in like take a leap of faith and like dream a dream and like, you know, do something different that I'd never do before. Like wherever you might feel all that type of energy is probably where you're going to have Pisces, even if you don't have any prominent placements like your sun, moon, or your rising. So the other thing that I've been talking about a lot is this mutability of this energy, which directly connects to the fact that it is hitting the other two mutable signs, which is Sagittarius and Gemini. So if you have those placements as well in prominent places, sun, moon, rising, maybe even your Venus and your Mars, you might also feel this shift depending on where that is in your chart or what sign or what planet it's in. But those mutable signs are being affected by this eclipse more acutely, but this is collective and everyone's going to be feeling at least the phonetic vibes. And what I mean by that, it's like electric, like the energy's electric, like it's something's happening. Because something is happening. You know what I'm saying? So blessings, you know, eclipses are magical, very destined moments, and they are neutral. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, we're going to do a collective reading, and I'm going to go through the signs, I think, as well. Maybe not this time. I'm going to do a collective reading for sure. So let's get into the collective reading for this eclipse. Wow. And I think I'm just going to keep it within a collective because it is such a big energy that I think we're all going to be able to glean something from the energy as a whole. So it's almost spooky season. But it's also a eclipse. I want to use a powerful deck. I'm going to use my Thoth Tarot. So, Thoth. I say Thoth. I like Thoth. Let's see the vibes. Let's see the vibes for this eclipse energy. Oh, wow. This is the first time I reversed these. Usually I don't read in reverse, but I just totally, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. It's so funny because I don't read these reverse. I've stopped shuffling my decks that I still use my decks like shuffled, reverse, and upright, but recently I've been stopping that and just doing them upright. Certain decks I like to still reverse with them. But I'm trying to exercise that energy muscle of like feeling the reversed, blocked, released, open, whatever that reverse was indicating, energy without it being literally reversed. You know what I mean? Just trying to expand, Pisces, my psychic, intuitive, spiritual gifts. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like that's a funny anecdote, but kind of definitely aligns with that Pisces energy in the North Node for me, because it does kind of transit my 7th and my 8th house, which is 8th house is the house of the occult or the taboo or the weird. Also, I'm showing my table, my desk. So I wanted to put the cards out. I don't know, for some reason, I've just been wanting to, when it comes to tarot, like maybe just show more of my process. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many readers out, and the things that make us different is what makes us interesting. You know what I'm saying? So everyone reads differently. So I'm like, maybe I should show people how I read more, or explain that more often. Maybe it'll help you learn how you read, if that's something you're interested in. Anyways, you're here for the message, so let me shut up. We have the 6 of Swords, or this is the Science card in this deck. So what this eclipse is doing for all of us is moving us on. There's something we are learning, immediately integrating, and moving forward from. It's like an immediate understanding that this is the way forward. It's like forward. What was I stuck on? What was I trying to figure out? Why was I so conflicted? Why was I so confused? Why was I so self-defeating? Why was I so challenged by my thoughts and my directionality? It's kind of that energy when I see this 6 of Swords on the bottom. And I think it's really interesting that in this deck it says science. Science is this like acquisition of knowledge to explain something. So a lot of times we can feel like, okay, I can move on from this now that we understand it more fully, or move on from a certain cycle or a certain way that we've been viewing something, or like something that has been like ambiguous in some way. There's something that is learned during this eclipse that allows us to mentally move on from what has been a challenge or confusing or maybe murky in terms of like the direction of something, what something's moving in, where you're moving, you know, what's next, who's next, you know, how you feel, like what you've learned. Like it's kind of like I want to feel like a graduation of sorts, you know, because it's interesting because it's kind of got that commencement energy for sure, like the beginning of something after something ends. Because isn't that funny? Like graduation is a commencement ceremony. And commencement means like starting something, right? But you're ending something. So it's like, what? But what's commencing is this new beginning, this new phase, this new cycle. You know, now that you have all this knowledge and acquired all of this experience, now you understand who you are, where you are, what you want, what you don't, what's working, what's not, what you want, what you know, what you don't, like I already said that. And now you're able to take that understanding and move on towards that path, right? So love that. Valor, 7 of Wands. I love this too. Valor is like, to me, when I see that energy, it's like someone that has like tenacity and heart and like integrity. Ooh. Okay, y'all. So this integrity of action. Whew. Speak on it. This integrity of action. When you have been in integrity with who you are, what your soul, your spirit is truly, moving you towards or through or whatever, because this is Wands energy, right? There's a Mars, this is Leo and Mars energy, actually. So it's very fierce and very heartfelt and very centered and grounded, right? But very ferocious. And it's like, that's integrity, because you don't fight for something you don't believe in, right? And you need to fight for yourself, to find yourself, to evolve into your best and highest self. That's a fight that you have to put up. And when you put that fight up, there's a lesson that is learned in that battle, which we've been in. And this eclipse is kind of eclipsing, moving that out of here, because we're able to move forward now with the knowledge. So that grit, that determination, that sense of honor to yourself, fight for yourself, that has led you to now being able to move forward, because that doubling down essentially in your truth, in your heart. And if you haven't been, you're also going to start to see where you've got to either like succumb to that falsity, that lie, and not move forward, like not grow anymore, or say, you know what, I've been defensive, but I need to be for real about what's going on so that I can move forward in a more aligned way. So this energy cuts, a couple of different ways depending on where you are in your personal journey, right? But ultimately, this eclipse energy is bringing us face to face with the changes that we either have made, need to make, or have been avoiding. And that is that sense of fight, externalized energy. Both of these are masculine energies so far. So there's been a lot of outward energy to have some internal change and environmental change, right? Pisces internal, Virgo, where we put ourselves, right? Where we sit, where we lay, where we live. Yo, can't make this the fuck up, bro. The universe. This is the world card, y'all. This is the end of a cycle. We have reached this point on our soul journey. This is the I almost want to lose it right now. This is the last major arcana card. It indicates that we have been on a soul journey and we have reached the end of this leg, and we are ready to move forward onto a whole new adventure with the lessons. I want to cry with the lessons, with the challenges, with the successes, with the reroutes, with the frustrations, with the anger, with the sadness, with the depression, with the crazy, with the aimless, with the sad, with the all of those things that we've been feeling and experiencing, and the joys and the highs and the lows and the shits and the life and the death and the ick and the whatever you've been going through. That's just been life, right? We sum it up and we say, well, that's life. Exactly, that's life. And the tarot is the journey of that life here, right? Or a reflection of it, right? It helps us understand what the hell are we learning here during our human, right? our human visitation. We are visiting Earth, and therefore we're supposed to be learning something. And that journey is repetitive. But what's happening with this eclipse is that we have learned something. If you have been doing that work, you have learned something about yourself, so you can move on to start something new, or more like an or, you've been avoiding or being defensive about the changes that need to happen, and that you're at the end of the road now. So there's no more room. You gotta do something, or it's gonna do you. Ten of Cups. Satiety is on the card. Me and the bestie have to look this word up a couple times. Satiety. It means feeling good, satisfied. So this full moon is bringing us satisfaction. Satisfaction. I don't know if you guys are a Ludacris fan. That just reminded me of it. So love that. Anyways, Ten of Cups is fulfillment. It's getting what you want. It is the happiness that we're all striving for in our lives. And this lunar eclipse is the beginning of that, with the ending of the lessons or the avoidance of the lessons. Well, that's your reading, y'all. That is Princess of Discs. That has a lot to do with learning, and the star. That's all about being in alignment. So, yeah, this full moon, this lunar eclipse is putting us on a new path, Princess of Disc, of knowledge and understanding of our lives. And we're kind of starting a new cycle, but with all the information, lessons that we have learned during this past part of our journey. The star, it's Aquarius energy. It's all about the future. You know, we can't forget, we're also linked to that big old Lionsgate Aquarius full moon that we had a month ago. So, you know, that opened the door to the future. This is pushing us through it, bruh. It's that full moon, Aquarius full moon, opened the door. This one is pushing us through the door. It's like, go. Then that next full moon, right? Aries, Libra. Now we're through the door. Now we got to get going. Now we got to start making moves. So love how that just came together as well. Completion. I mean, get the hell out of here. Completion underneath the Six of Swords. That's your reading, y'all. This just, love everything about it. You know, tarot never ceases to amaze me. Like, I freaking love it. And it was so funny because I really sat down and I was like, Spirit, I said, Spirit, the moon is void course right now. Can I pull on this energy? And for a second there, I was like, nope, because like on a piece of paper, a void course moon, you might as well just fucking throw it in the trash. But for some reason, you know, Archangel Haniel is one of my archangels, and she's connected to the moon. So I was like, girl. And so she was basically like, yeah, you can do this. And then as soon as I finished like my pendulum session, I looked up and my moon incense was like right in front of me. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And I did it. And this is a really good, like, I'm not like toot because this is for y'all, but like I'm just the messenger. But I'm happy to be that messenger for this because it's very impactful energy. And I feel it for myself. And I'm blessed. I'm so blessed and thankful. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and it resonated with you in whatever way. If it did, leave me a comment below and I'll see you next time.